We've been helping videographers close high-ticket clients for over 2 years now, and we've generated over $3.4 million in sales for my students. Now, during this time, we've helped people go from charging $500 for weekend gigs to landing 12.5K packages with dream clients. You name the challenge: inconsistent leads, awkward sales calls, quoting random prices, clients ghosting you. We've worked through it. And after all this time, we've found a proven way to consistently close high-paying clients for videographers every single time, without sounding like a pushy salesman, like you're begging for money, and without undercharging for your services. And in this video, I'm breaking it down step by step so you can steal it and start closing high-paying clients with confidence. Now, before we get into it, here's why you should actually listen to me in the first place. You don't have to if you don't want to, but my name is Ridge. I used to be in the exact same spot that you're probably in right now, grinding as a freelance videographer, chasing random projects, praying for a call back after my sales calls, and getting ghosted by potential clients. I was really good at shooting and editing. I knew how to sell, or at least I thought I did. But for some reason, my prospects just weren't calling me back. The conversations felt good, but they weren't closing, and I couldn't figure out why. And now I run a multiple six-figure video business. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the exact process that helped me and helps my students close 5K, 10K, and bigger projects. All right, let's reframe your perspective on sales real quick. Look, the biggest problem I see with videographers when it comes to sales, it's not your people skills. It's not even your portfolio. It's what's going on between your ears, your mindset and belief about sales in the first place. See, most videographers I talk to are literally sabotaging themselves before they even get on a sales call in the first place. They don't believe in the value of their offer. They lack conviction in their own abilities, and they're tired of coming across as salesy or pushy. And here's the truth bomb that you need to hear. If you know your service delivers real results, hear me out, and you genuinely care about your client's success, then isn't it your moral obligation and responsibility to guide them through working with you? Because if you don't, someone else is gonna take that client's money and probably not give a single fuck about their success. And the reason you feel like you're being salesy is because you don't actually believe you could deliver them results. Think about it. If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that your video work would transform their business, bring them more leads, more revenue, would you feel bad about asking for the sale? Of course not. You would feel like you're doing them a disservice by not working with them. And this is why most videographers struggle with sales. They're talented behind the camera, but they lack conviction in the value they actually bring to the table. They're afraid to charge what they're worth because deep down, they're not sure if they're even worth it in the first place. But here's the thing. If you're watching this video, you probably have more skill and talent than 90% of the people out there charging double what you are. The difference is confidence and a proven sales process, not your talent as a videographer. So before we dive into the actual sales framework, I need you to make a mental shift for me real quick. You're not selling, you're helping clients make the best decision for their business. And sometimes that best decision is to hire you. Now here's how to actually position yourself as an expert. This is where most of you guys completely blow it on sales calls. You talk way too much. Videographers ramble about their equipment, their process, their portfolio, their passion for cinematography. Meanwhile, the client's eyes are glazing over. Listen to me carefully. If you're talking more than your prospect is, you are probably not closing the deal. And if you want kind of a cheat sheet here, download Fathom.ai and record every single one of your sales calls. And it will actually tell you in the top right-hand corner if you're going on a monologue and what percentage of the call you are speaking. If you're above 10%, shut up. The magic happens when you shut up and you let them talk. Every single thing they say is ammunition for your close. Their fears, their goals, their past experiences. These are all gold nuggets that you can use later to position your service as the perfect solution. Now, I see this mistake constantly with my students before we fix it. They get on a call and immediately go into please hire me mode, talking about themselves for 20 minutes straight, and they wonder why they're not closing any deals. Now here's the shift that I need you to make. Stop positioning yourself as a service provider, as an order taker, and start positioning yourself as an expert consultant. Now, what's the difference exactly? A service provider asks, what do you want? Or what's your budget? They're essentially saying, tell me what to do and I'll do it for whatever you're willing to pay. An expert says, based on your situation, here's what you need. They diagnose before they prescribe. You need to sell clients what they need, not what they want. Think about it for a second. When you go to a doctor, they don't walk in and say, so what kind of surgery were you thinking about today? what's your budget for medications? That would be insane. They ask questions, diagnose the problem, and then tell you what you need. And it's exactly how you should approach sales for your offer. You gotta stop asking prospects what they want or what their budget is. These questions position you as a commodity, just another videographer they can price shop against. Instead, ask diagnostic questions. What business goals are you trying to achieve with video? What's currently working right now in your marketing? Or how are your competitors using video that you feel you should do too? Then based on their answers, prescribe the solution. So based on what you've shared, this is exactly what you need. This positioning as an expert rather than a service provider is exactly what allows you to command $12,000 packages instead of charging $1,200 for essentially the same deliverables. And remember, clients don't buy video services. They buy solutions to their problems and pathways to their goals. Position yourself as the expert who can provide those solutions, not just another videographer begging for work. And if you actually want a word-for-word sales script that my students are using to scale from 10K a month to 30K a month, click the first link in the description below to book a call with my team so that you can stop losing out on deals that you shouldn't be losing out on. And by the way, there's something I'm actually gonna share later in this video that goes even deeper than the script, something that'll help you handle every single objection that you're getting on calls in a way that feels natural, confident, and actually gets the close. So if you've ever stumbled on your own words when somebody says, I need to think about it, or it's just too expensive, stick around. I'm gonna walk you through how I coach my students through those moments and how you can get access to the full breakdown completely for free. Now here's what most videographers are missing from the sales process. There is a critical element missing that is costing you thousands of dollars per client. And I see it constantly with new students who come to me frustrated about their close rates. And here it is. You can't clearly articulate what you're actually selling. Sounds simple, right? But when I ask videographers what they're selling, they say things like a brand video or social media or a commercial or whatever the client needs, right? That's like a doctor saying they're selling a procedure instead of pain relief or better health. And what we help our students do is completely reframe their offer around three key elements. Number one, what are they actually delivering, or the tangible deliverables, right? Two, why it matters, AKA the purpose behind the videos. And then three, how the outcome aligns with the prospect's specific goals, right? The business impact. And when you can clearly communicate these three elements, something magical happens on sales calls. The conversation shifts from, is this worth $2,500? to, can I afford not to do this? Let me give you an example. One of my students, Adrian, was struggling to close deals above $2,000. He was pitching brand videos for local businesses and getting constant pushback on the price. Now, after working with us, he started pitching a customer acquisition system that uses strategic video content to generate qualified leads and build trust with prospects before they ever talk to a salesperson. Same deliverables, completely different positioning. And his close rate actually jumped from a 9% to 35%. And his average project value went from $2,000 to $8,500 in just 60 days. And for those of you that are bad at math, because you dropped out of college like me, that's a difference between making $5,000 and $23,500. When I was running my video business, I struggled with this for years. I kept selling the video deliverables and not the outcomes that the clients would receive as a result of the videos. I was lucky to make $1,000 for a video. Then, after understanding funnels, client acquisition, and marketing, I was able to sell a $20,000 video sales letter to a client in Dubai. And they didn't even bat an eye at the price. Oh, I also had to get good at sales, by the way. The difference is clarity and alignment. And when you can clearly articulate not just what you're delivering, but why it matters and how it aligns with their specific unique goals, you remove the price objection before it even comes up in the first place. And most videographers are so focused on cameras, techniques, and deliverables that they completely miss this crucial element of sales. They're selling features when they should be selling outcomes. Now, this clarity also gives you something even more valuable: confidence. When you know exactly what you're selling and why it's valuable in the first place, you stop second guessing yourself on sales calls. You stop feeling like you need to discount your prices, and you start showing up as the expert that you truly are. And clients can feel that confidence. It's honestly contagious. When you're confident in your offer and what you have to sell, they become confident in their decision to hire you in the first place. And this is why our students are able to close $12,500 plus projects every week, while other videographers with similar technical skills are struggling to get $1,000 for the same work. And it's not about the quality of the video. It's about the clarity of the offer and the confidence with which it is presented. Okay, you stuck with me for this long. Now let's get to the actual pre-call ritual. Let's get to the call process now that we've discussed the foundations of sales. And before you even get on a call with a potential client, there's work that needs to be done, okay? This pre-call ritual is something 99% of videographers skip, and it is costing them thousands. It is costing them so many deals. First, you need to research your prospect. I'm not talking about a quick glance at their website. I mean, really understand their business before hopping on the call. It shows you care and you do your research and due diligence. What are they currently doing with video, if anything? Who are their competitors and what are they doing with video? Are they running any ads currently on the Facebook ad library? What's their positioning in the market? What challenges might they be facing that your videos could solve? Okay, second, prepare your environment before the call. Find a quiet space with good lighting and a clean background, okay? We're selling videos, so don't have your Zoom call look like you live in your mom's basement, okay? Test your audio and video. Have a notepad ready to take notes, pen and paper. This seems basic, but you'd be shocked how many sales calls I've been on where the videographer is in their car or at a coffee shop or has terrible audio and is just listening and not taking any notes. Third, get in the right headspace, okay? I like to do a quick 5-minute meditation before calls to center myself. Remember, you're not desperate for this client. You are evaluating if they're a good fit to work with you, okay? And finally, review your pricing and packages beforehand so you're not making it up on the spot. Know your worth and be confident and ready to communicate it. Now, this pre-call ritual might seem excessive, but it is the foundation that sets you apart from brokies. Now let's actually get into the meat and potatoes, bread and butter, whatever you want to say, the NEPQ framework, okay? Here's the actual call structure. Now, I follow Jeremy Miner's sales process called the NEPQ framework. Now, this is neuro-emotional persuasion questioning, and don't let the fancy name intimidate you. It's simply a way of asking questions that helps clients sell themselves on your services. The framework has several key phases, okay? Phase 1 is rapport building. Guys, keep this under 60 seconds. Keep it brief. A simple, how's your week going is enough. Don't waste time with 5 to 10 minutes of small talk. Your prospect's busy and so are you. So you wanna respect their time and yours and get to the point. 2, we're setting the agenda. Set the frame of how this call is gonna go. This is crucial. You gotta say something like, here's how I like to structure these calls. First, I wanna dive deeper into your business, your current strategy, and what challenges you're facing, preventing you from getting to your goals. Then, if I feel that I can help, I'll share with you how it might work to work together. If not, I'll point you in the right direction. Does that sound good? This positions you as a consultant, not some desperate freelancer hopping on saying, hey, so what kind of videos do you want? Third, problem discovery. Now, this is where the magic happens, okay? We're asking open-ended questions about their business challenges. What's currently not working with your marketing? What have you tried in the past that didn't get the results that you wanted? And how is this really affecting your business outside of just making more money? The key here is to dig deeper with follow-up questions. If they say, our videos just aren't getting enough views, you need to ask questions like, well, why do you think that is? Or I guess, how is that impacting your sales? See, you wanna uncover the emotional pain behind their practical problems. Okay, next up is solution awareness. Ask what they've done to solve these problems. Okay, what have you tried to improve your marketing in the past? What are you currently doing to solve these problems? Have you worked with other video marketing teams in the past? How did that go? This helps you understand their past experiences and avoid making the same mistakes. People's current beliefs are bound by their past experiences. Now we get into consequence questions. This is where you help them see the cost of inaction, the cost of not working with you. Questions like, so what happens if you don't solve this problem in the next 6 months? How much revenue do you think you're losing by not having this strategy in place? See, these questions create urgency and help them realize the value of solving their problem. Then we move into the desired situation. Get them to articulate their ideal outcome. If we were having this conversation a year from now and your strategy was working perfectly, what would that look like? What does success look like for you? What would successful videos do for your business specifically? And who are you doing this for? This gets them emotionally invested in the solution that you are about to present. Next up, we move into the bridge. Now you can transition your solution. So based on what you've shared, I think we can definitely help. You mentioned summarize their key pain points. You mentioned that you're having issues with lack of lead gen and you just aren't having enough awareness out there. You're not able to have predictable numbers in your business, so we don't know how to actually scale with predictability. And that's exactly what we specialize in solving for businesses just like yours. Then we move into the offer. Present your solution as the bridge between their current pain and the desired outcome. Here's how we would approach this project. Now, be specific about deliverables, timeline, process, and outcomes. Show them that you have thought this through and you've done this time and time again. Then we get into the investment. Don't call it price or cost, okay? It's an investment in their business. So present it confidently. And the only investment for this project to get you from here to here, quantify whatever that is $12,500. Then stop talking, shut up. The first person to speak after you state your price loses. Let them process it, sit in the silence. Next, we handle objections. If they raise concerns, don't get defensive. Use the feel, felt, found method. I understand how you feel. Other clients have actually felt the same way that you do initially. And what they found was insert results. Address their objections with confidence, not desperation, and stop defending yourself. So here are the 3 most common objections you're going to face, and I'm going to show you exactly how to handle them using techniques that have generated millions in sales for myself and for our students. Number 1, it's just too expensive. Now, when a prospect says your service is too expensive, remember this: it's never actually about the money. It's really a smokescreen for something deeper. And here's how to handle it. Listen, man, I hear you, Johnny. I respect that that's a concern. Let me ask you though, when you say it's too expensive, I guess, what are you comparing that to exactly? Now, this question immediately shifts their perspective. They'll usually say something like other videographers or our budget, however they came up with that budget. Then you follow up with, okay, I guess that makes sense, Johnny. I have one more question for you though, just out of curiosity. First of all, do you, price aside, man, do you genuinely believe that this solution will actually deliver you to X result that you're telling me about before that you're looking to achieve? Usually they're gonna respond with yes, 100%. That's exactly what we need. You'd be like, okay, cool. So I guess looking at this as an investment, if we did do this, how much money do you think you would make over the course of the next 4 months working together? And they're gonna tell you, well, maybe this much, right? Like at least 40, 50, $100,000 over the next 4 months by implementing the solution. And then you come back with, okay, cool, man. So I guess you do understand this will actually work for you. You actually believe in it. And listen, I don't want you to even consider spending your money on something if you're not 100% confident in that solution for your business to achieve this outcome. So I'm glad that you're confident. I guess that being said, what do you think is more risky here? Investing in this to transform your business to achieve that result, or continue to do what you've been doing this whole time and just, I guess, keep seeing the same results? Notice how I'm asking these questions, okay? Notice my tonality, my rate of delivery, the speed, the fluctuation of my voice, my body language, my facial expression. These are all huge key factors when it comes to neuro-emotional persuasion questioning, the NEPQ framework, okay? Because most of the time in sales, it's not exactly what you say, but it's how it's being said. Okay, because when you go into sales calls, you're always going to be met with the frontal frame and defensive wall, defensive barrier of somebody going, oh, they're going to try to sell me. So naturally, they're going to be throwing objections out there, right? The way we lower these barriers in order to get them to drop their guards, they can be transparent and honest with us, is by asking these questions in the way that I am asking them. Famous psychologist Albert Mehrabian talks about how 93% of our communication and the effectiveness of it is done through body language, tonality, rate of delivery, connotation, fluctuation in voice, facial expression, and 7% of our effective communication is done through written word. What does that tell you about the importance of sales? Now, when asking this question, what's more risky, not doing this or doing the same thing you've been doing, this reframes the entire conversation from price to risk assessment. Now, you're helping them see that the real risk isn't spending money, it's really staying where they are. Now, that's assuming they actually believe in the offer that you're selling and you've done a good job at giving the pitch. Then you close with, listen, Johnny, the reality is you're not on this call because you want cheap videos with the best price. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're here because you want results, right? And you told me XYZ thing was a really big goal for you. And if these videos help you land even one new client worth X amount of dollars, and this is where you also figure out how much their clients are worth, average order value, profit margins, you do that earlier into the call, so you use it as ammunition for this section to handle this objection. One client's worth $5,000 to you, this becomes the best investment you made all year, wouldn't you agree? Now, we move on to objection number 2. I just need to think about it. Now, this is probably the most common objection you're going to get, and it's almost never the real objection. It's a conditioned buyer's response that masks the real concern. Here's how you handle it. Johnny, listen, I totally understand, man. This is a really important decision for you. Can I ask a question though? If we put the money aside for a second, I guess, how do you genuinely feel about the process that we discussed? Like, do you actually believe it's what you need to get the results that you're looking for? Again, notice how I'm asking the question. This isolates whether their hesitation is about the solution itself or something else entirely different. Now, if they say yes to this, you know it's not about your actual service. Then you say, okay, cool, I appreciate you saying that, man. So just to be clear, you're not in a should I do this place where you're going back and forth on if this is the best next step for your business. It sounds like you're more in a how can I do this place where you're 100% certain this is what you need. It's just a matter of making it work financially. Is that accurate, would you say? Now, this distinction is crucial, okay? It separates uncertainty about the solution from logistical concerns. If they confirm that it is just logistics, you can work out payment plans or timing, okay? Now, if they reveal uncertainty about the solution, AKA your offer, you need to go back and address that first, okay? Number 3, we need to just get other quotes. We're still shopping around. I've got other calls, right? This objection is about comparison and fear of making the wrong decision, which is completely valid. Now, here's how you handle it. Johnny, that makes complete sense, dude. Can I share perspective on that, though? So when you're comparing options for something as important as your business's marketing strategy and future of, revenue, it's kind of a lot like choosing a parachute for skydiving, right? If you had 2 options, one that's cheaper, but you're not as confident in it, versus one that costs more, but it gives you the best chance of success, which would you choose for something that critical? Now, this analogy shifts their thinking from price comparison to risk assessment, okay? By the way, this is just one way to handle this objection. Stay tuned to the end of this video. I'm gonna give you something that you are going to be super ecstatic about. Then you follow up with, your business's success is just as important, would you agree? What would cause you to want to go with something cheaper when it comes to something as critical as how your business is perceived by potential customers, or the future of the revenue growth of your business, to take care of things that you told me before, like taking care of your family, providing for your employees, having more time freedom to give opportunities for your kids. And that's all a result of making more money and hitting your revenue goals, right? It's not about saving a few $1,000s, it's about the success of the business. Now remember, the key to handling objections is not to argue or convince or defend yourself. It's to ask the right questions that help the prospects convince themselves. Now, when they arrive at the conclusion on their own, it is infinitely more powerful than anything that you could tell them. Okay, and one final tip, the best way to handle objections is to prevent them from coming up in the first place. And if you've done a thorough job in the discovery phase and built enough value, many of these objections simply won't arise. Now, if you want my in-depth objection handling training, go to the description below and you can download the full training, okay? This is like a 30+ page Google document handling every objection you could possibly get, totally for free. You're welcome. And the difference between videographers charging $500 and those charging $12,000 is not just skill, it's confidence, process, and the ability to communicate the value that you're selling. Remember, sales is not about being pushy or manipulative, because if that's how you're coming across, you're doing it all wrong. It's about helping clients make the best decision for their business. And if you truly believe in the value you provide, then guiding them to work with you is the most helpful thing you can possibly do. This NEPQ framework has helped my students generate over $3.4 million in sales, and it can work for you too, even if you hate sales. All right, now let's be real for a second, okay? Mastering this sales framework is powerful, but it's only half the battle, because closing deals is one thing. But how do you find people who are actually ready to buy in the first place? I talk to videographers every single day who have this exact sales script dialed in, but they're still struggling because they're sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. They're chasing random leads, praying for referrals, or worse, competing on freelance platforms against people charging $50 a video. If that sounds familiar, I've got something specifically for you. I put together a complete training that breaks down exactly how to attract high-paying clients consistently so you can close them without cold calling, without begging for work, and without lowering your prices. It's the same system that my students are using to book 3 to 5 qualified sales calls every single week with prospects who are pre-sold before they even get on the phone. So click this video right here to watch it now, because even the best sales script won't help you if no one's on the call. This isn't some theory or maybe this will work strategy. This is the exact client attraction system that's generated over $3.4 million for videographers just like you. So if you're serious about scaling your video business beyond the feast and famine cycle and actually have predictability within your revenue, click that link now and I'll see you in that video. What? Why are you still here? Click right there. Click it.